The Cleveland Browns defeated the Carolina Panthers 30-10 their preseason opener Friday night at Bank of America Stadium. The victory belonged to rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who threw 2 touchdown passes in his highly anticipated NFL debut.
Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith with us tonight. Sanders in and able to complete for a first down.
Sanders completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding 19 rushing yards on 4 carries. 23-year-old finished with a 106.8 passer rating without throwing an interception. Sanders entered this game carrying the weight of unexpected disappointment. Draft analysts projected him as a top 5 pick, potentially even top 10 selection. Instead, he fell all the way to the 5th round, where Cleveland selected him 144th overall. The dramatic fall stemmed from pre-draft interviews that allegedly went poorly. Teams questioned his attitude and professionalism during the evaluation process. Sanders became the second quarterback Cleveland drafted following 3rd-round selection Dillon Gabriel. His father, Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, made a bold prediction before kickoff. "He's going to be a problem after tonight, I promise you that," the Colorado head coach said. The Browns faced a quarterback crisis heading into their preseason opener. Joe Flacco, the presumptive Week 1 starter, remained healthy but was held out of the game. Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel both battled hamstring injuries that kept them sidelined. The injury situation forced Cleveland to sign Tyler Huntley just Tuesday before the game. Sanders had been working as the 4th quarterback throughout training camp. He never received reps with the first-team offense during practice. Coach Kevin Stefanski announced that Sanders would receive approximately 50 snaps. The rookie would get his most extensive work with 2nd and 3rd-string players he had practiced with throughout training camp. Sanders arrived at the stadium accompanied by a reaper and scythe, playing up the spectacle of his debut. The dramatic entrance matched his father's flair for showmanship. The opening drive produced disappointing results. Sanders went 3 and out on his first possession. His first pass sailed high and incomplete, intended for veteran Deontay Johnson. His first completion came on 3rd down to Kaden Davis, but fell short of the first down marker. The second drive showed promise before stalling. Sanders displayed mobility with a 10-yard scramble on 3rd and 9, converting for a first down. 2 plays later, he overthrew wide-open Dylan Sampson on a rollout. The drive ended when Sanders threw the ball away under pressure on 4th and 1 Shapper. "I did some good and bad. I know moving forward I won't do the same mistakes twice, whatever the decision is," Sanders told reporters after the game. The Panthers scored first on a 5-yard touchdown pass from Bryce Young to Jalen Coker. The scoring drive featured a spectacular catch by rookie Tetaiora McMillan before a fight between Xavier Legette and Rayshon Jenkins led to both players being ejected. Sanders caught his first break when Trevor Etienne muffed a punt return. The Browns recovered at the Carolina 10-yard line, setting up excellent field position. Sanders capitalized immediately. On the first play of the second quarter, he rolled left on a play-action bootleg. He waited patiently before floating a perfect pass between 2 defenders to Davis in the back corner of the end zone. The 7-yard touchdown tied the game 7-7. Yes, Lord, yes, at Shedeur Sanders. Deion Sanders posted on social media after the score. The second touchdown drive showcased Sanders' growing confidence. He completed a spectacular 30-yard pass to Luke Flourier, who made a tremendous one-handed catch down the right sideline. The completion came with a defender in Sanders' face as he rolled right and delivered the ball perfectly. Sanders finished the drive with a 12-yard strike to Davis over the middle. The accurate pass gave Cleveland a 14-7 halftime lead with 1:58 remaining in the second quarter. Sanders completed 11 of 18 passes for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. He posted a 113.9 passer rating with no turnovers. He also carried the ball 3 times for 20 yards. "I wasn't nervous, so I didn't really have too much adrenaline," Sanders explained. "It was just getting comfortable. That's all it is. There were plenty of games before I was nervous, but I felt like I knew the answers to the test." The performance drew immediate attention beyond football. NBA star LeBron James posted his reaction on social media. "That young man looking good out there. Keep going up, head down on the grind, and head high to the most high." James followed up with another post defending the significance of preseason performance. "And I don't want to hear that it's only preseason BS. 'Cause if he was out there not going in, y'all would be on his butt about it. So give credit and grace lames." Sanders cooled off slightly coming out of halftime. The Browns punted on back-to-back possessions as Sanders struggled with command. He took a sack from Damani Richardson on a safety blitz during his first drive of the second half. Pre-snap penalties created a 3rd and 1-8 situation. Sanders completed his pass to Sal Cannella, but well short of the sticks, forcing another punt. Sanders recovered with his third touchdown drive of the night. Nick Needham intercepted Andy Dalton to set up Cleveland at midfield. Sanders completed both of his pass attempts on the drive, including a 25-yard connection to tight end Brendan Bates. The drive ended with Gage Larvadain scoring on a 4-yard jet sweep. Sanders had successfully led 3 scoring drives in nearly 3 full quarters of action. Tyler Huntley entered the game with 2:12 remaining in the third quarter, ending Sanders' night after 45 plays. Sanders demonstrated several positive traits during his debut. He showed poise in the pocket and excellent accuracy on both touchdown passes. His mobility served him well, particularly on the 10-yard scramble that converted a crucial third down. The rookie also displayed questionable decision-making at times. He nearly threw an interception when targeting Gage Larvadain in traffic during the second quarter. On the following play, he scrambled unnecessarily instead of throwing the ball away, running out of bounds for a loss. "I'm uncomfortable being uncomfortable," Sanders said. "I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I gotta get into that quicker. But overall, I felt like me out there." Sanders acknowledged taking 2 sacks during the game. He admitted there was some sloppiness in his performance despite the positive results. Kevin Stefanski expressed satisfaction with Sanders' debut performance. "Honestly, I'm pleased with the way Shedeur played. I'm pleased with the way the offense operated tonight." The coach remained non-committal about how the performance might impact the quarterback competition. He said, "We're really just focused on developing our players. We're in evaluation mode. I'm pleased with where the guys are, but I'm not diving into a quarterback competition." Sanders maintained perspective about his future role. "I just think about when I get out there just doing what I gotta do. Everything else is out of my hand, so why worry about it? I just don't think that deep into everything because it's something that you're not able to control, so why put energy into something you can't control?" Joe Flacco praised Sanders' quick decision-making during a sideline interview. He said, "I think he's doing a good job tonight. The thing I'm kind of happy he's doing it. He's getting the ball out of his hands early in the down. He's also been able to show he can move around a little bit, but I think when he has had to get the ball out of his hands, he has done that." Sanders' performance generated widespread attention across social media. Former NFL receiver Dez Bryant posted, "Sanders belong, I like his aura."
The Cleveland Browns quarterback battle just took a shocking turn. Shedeur Sanders delivered a stunning performance against the first-team defense on his very first opportunity. Now experts are buzzing, players are taking notice, and some are even saying he's earned a spot with the starters. But here's what makes this development particularly significant for Myles Garrett and the Browns defense. They might have just witnessed their future franchise quarterback in action. Sanders faced off against the first-team defense for the first time and looked like he belonged at the highest level. According to 92.3 The Fan's Nick Padone, the Browns may be holding Sanders back deliberately. Doesn't it feel like that they've got the training wheels on Shedeur Sanders? If he balls out in preseason, the Browns are not going to be able to continue hide, Padone wrote. The limited opportunities haven't stopped Sanders from making an impact. Things have reportedly gotten so restricted for Sanders in camp that he's occasionally been forced to throw to staff members during practice. This indicates just how few real reps he's been receiving with the actual team. Former NFL cornerback Asante Samuel Sr. highlighted Sanders' efficiency during a recent podcast episode. He goes out there and does something like he did today. 9 for 9, 2 touchdowns, 32 other teams are watching, Samuel said. Oh man, this might be the first time we see in history that something bizarre happens where a team tries to make a trade for him like the New Orleans Saints. Nick Wright made his stance crystal clear, stating that Shedeur Sanders deserved to be the starter. Wright wasn't just impressed by Sanders' talent, he also pointed out the competition Sanders was facing against quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Joe Flacco. Wright's assessment of Kenny Pickett was particularly harsh. Wright argued,
because he has found himself with Kenny Pickett, who is not an NFL quarterback. Flatly not an NFL quarterback. We have seen it every chance he's had, every opportunity he's had to play.
He stated that Pickett had already been given ample opportunities to prove himself, but failed to convince anyone he was franchise quarterback material. As for Joe Flacco, Wright dismissed him outright. Despite Flacco's Super Bowl pedigree, Wright believed Flacco no longer had what it took to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Flacco, who I just think if you're the Browns, what are you doing? Why?
Unless they think they can actually make the playoffs.
Wright also addressed Dillon Gabriel, acknowledging the young quarterback's potential, but pointing out his size as a significant limitation. While Gabriel couldn't control his stature, Wright believed it wasn't going to be enough to elevate him to the starting role. Wright dug into the stats from the training sessions, acknowledging that while they might not hold much weight in the grand scheme, they couldn't be ignored. Every time those numbers came up, Sanders was either at the top or outshining the other quarterbacks. Whether it was completion percentage, decision-making, or overall efficiency, Sanders consistently stood out.
Yeah.
And the fact that whatever those training camp stats are worth, and maybe it's next to nothing, it's not nothing, and it's not 0% that they're worth, and every time we show him, he's at least in line with everybody. And so I just think
generally better.
I think there is.
ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum also believes Sanders is the best option to start. Guys, Shedeur Sanders, this is a no-brainer. I want you to take some copious notes here. Since 2000, there's only been 6 quarterbacks start a game under 6 feet tall. That's Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, PJ Walker, Seneca Wallace, and Doug Flutie. Exactly. So, to me, even though Dillon Gabriel went in the 3rd round, I would start Shedeur Sanders. Let them fight it out on the field. But to me, Shedeur Sanders has the better pro body and more upside. Tannenbaum said on Get Up. Chris Broussard weighed in, urging the Browns to take a serious look at what Sanders could bring to the table this season. Broussard didn't hold back, calling for the Browns to put Sanders in and let him prove what he could do in real game situations. According to Broussard, if Sanders shows what he's capable of, he could very well be the franchise quarterback Cleveland's been searching for. Broussard didn't mince words when it came to Dillon Gabriel. He made it crystal clear Gabriel wasn't the Browns' answer at quarterback. Broussard stated that Gabriel seemed more like a career backup, not someone who could lead a team as the starter. He wasn't convinced Gabriel had the tools to take on a first-team defense and perform at a high level.
I agree with Haslam in that obviously you need to see what your rookies can do. And I do think they think of Gabriel as like a backup, like a career backup maybe.
Garrett Bush highlighted Sanders' growth during the training sessions. According to Bush, Sanders had not only stepped up his game on the field, but had also shown maturity off of it. Bush pointed out that even when Sanders wasn't getting as many reps, he remained professional and handled the media with poise, showing leadership beyond his years. Bush mentioned the looming injuries and how they were likely to force the team's hand, giving Sanders more opportunities with first-team reps. As the depth chart shifted, Bush believed Sanders' chances to prove himself would only increase.
I've been at camp every single day. I got a lot of respect because his game has really stepped up. He's shown a lot of growth in knowledge of the playbook, shown some maturity. Handled not getting reps very well. Everything he's asked in the press conference, he's answered well. And now, with injuries, because things happen.
Bush was absolutely confident in his assessment of Sanders. He made it clear that if Sanders continued to prove his worth, showing consistent performances week after week, there would be no way the Browns could keep him off the field. Bush was adamant. If Sanders kept playing at a high level, the starting job would be his, no questions asked. Despite all the hype surrounding his rapid rise, Sanders has remained patient and focused on the long game. In a recent interview, he shared his mindset about the situation. Sanders made it clear that he wasn't wasting any time waiting for his opportunity. He was doubling down on his understanding of the game.
I'll say just have a deeper level of understanding because I know whenever I get my opportunity, I got to maximize it. So that's something you have to change in the mentality standpoint, and the mental standpoint is okay. I just got to think about what I could do to get better.
Sanders addressed the limited rep situation directly during training camp. I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process of why it is. It doesn't make me feel down, or it doesn't make me feel left out or anything. Because I know who I am as a person. I know who I am as an individual. And I know what I could bring to this team, Sanders said. Coach Kevin Stefanski noted Sanders' progress over the past couple of months. Yeah, I think Shedeur does a nice job of keeping the main thing. He's working hard and keeping his head down, Stefanski said. Even first-team players are starting to take notice of Sanders' rapid development. Jerry Jeudy, a standout wide receiver, spoke highly of Sanders, praising his growth both on and off the field. Jeudy made it clear that Sanders had become noticeably more confident and more precise in his play. He pointed to the progress Sanders had made since OTAs and minicamps, where he was already showing flashes of brilliance. According to Judy, it was clear to everyone that Sanders had only gotten better as time went on. His growth wasn't just physical, it was mental too. Myles Garrett, one of the league's premier defenders, added significant fuel to the growing buzz surrounding Sanders. When asked if Sanders could live up to the sky-high expectations, Garrett's response was immediate and powerful. "Since he's joined the NFL and I've seen him practice, I'm sure he can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league," Garrett said. Those words weren't just a compliment, they were a statement of belief from one of the most dominant forces in the NFL. Garrett's confidence in Sanders sent a clear message. Sanders wasn't just some rookie, he was someone who had already proven in practice that he had the tools to compete with the best. This endorsement from Garrett carries significant weight. As a player who faces elite quarterbacks regularly and understands what it takes to succeed at the highest level, Garrett's assessment provides crucial validation for Sanders' abilities.
I don't think that's not my place, to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that.
Cleveland just got turned upside down. Shedeur Sanders stepped onto that practice field Monday running with the second-team offense, and what happened next has everybody talking. Sanders uncorked a gorgeous touchdown bomb to rookie receiver Gage Larvadain during 11-on-11 drills. Corner Cameron Mitchell was in coverage, but it didn't matter one bit. The ball placement was surgical. Only Larvadain could reach it, and he hauled it in for 6 points that had the entire practice facility shocked. But here's what makes this crazy. Sanders did this while running behind Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel in the depth chart. Kenny Pickett missed Monday's session with a hamstring injury, making Sanders the third quarterback in the rotation, third string, limited reps, maximum impact. The film breakdown shows everything you need to know about Sanders' development. He stepped up in the pocket under pressure, set his feet properly, and delivered a frozen rope that split the defense. This wasn't some lucky heave. This was precision quarterbacking from a fifth-round pick who's supposed to be fighting just to make the roster. Jerry Jeudy dropped some major intel after the fourth training camp practice. When asked about the quarterback competition, Jeudy said he's seen them guys getting better each day, and they're working towards their goals, working hard, and doing what they're supposed to do on the field and off the field to be better than it was the day before. But Judy's body language told a different story. The Pro Bowl receiver has caught passes from all 4 quarterbacks during individual drills, but in team situations, he's only connected with 3 of them. Sanders is the only quarterback who hasn't thrown to Jeudy during first-team reps. That's about to change. The rep distribution reveals everything about Cleveland's internal evaluation. Through 4 practices, Dillon Gabriel leads with 12-team series. Joe Flacco has 9. Kenny Pickett managed 7 before his hamstring injury. Sanders sits at the bottom with limited opportunities, but he's maximizing every single one. Training camp statistics show Sanders going perfect 4 for 4 on one practice day. Another session had him at 5 for 8, while Gabriel went 4 for 8, Flacco 4 for 11, and Pickett 2 for 6. Sanders threw the only touchdown pass despite getting the fewest reps. Higher completion percentage than everyone else with minimal chances. Myles Garrett's involvement changes everything. After Friday's practice, Sanders stayed on the field working with center Brady Latham to fix some bad snap exchanges. Then Cleveland's $160 million franchise cornerstone walked over and started helping. Their all-pro pass rusher invested extra time after practice to support the rookie quarterback. Garrett's actions speak louder than any depth chart. This is the same player who demanded a trade in February because Cleveland was a non-contender. The same guy who got his massive extension in March with one clear message: I expect to get to the Super Bowl. When your franchise defensive star voluntarily helps the 5th-round quarterback, that sends shockwaves through the organization. GM Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski were spotted closely observing Sanders during his latest training session reps. This wasn't casual watching. Both executives were locked in on every move, every throw, every decision Sanders made. That's the attention you only get when you're separating yourself from the pack. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees was seen watching Sanders closely from the sideline during Monday's practice. Sanders isn't going through the motions. He's capitalizing on every rep, showcasing precision, vision, and playmaking ability that's leaving seasoned professionals impressed.